So let's look at some ways and review how we can multiply with 3 and 6 and just a couple different multiplication strategies, okay? So here is our first problem. 8 times 3. There's a couple ways I can do this problem, okay? So the one way I want to show you guys is using an array. So I'm going to draw a picture of 8 times 3. So I'm going to have 8 rows and 3 in each row. Here's my picture. I have 8 rows. Go ahead and count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I have 3 in each row. 1, 2, 3. This picture represents 8 times 3, or 8 rows and 3 in each row. I'm going to distribute this, okay? And I am going to split this up into familiar equations, or maybe a smaller equation is a better way to put it, than 8, okay? Because I can't multiply by 8. So I'm just going to take, and I'm going to draw a line, and I am going to draw a line right here, okay? So here is going to be my first multiplication equation. Here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, only 5 rows this time. And I have 1, 2, 3 columns. So 5 times 3. How many stars do you count in that box? Count those stars for me. Did you get 15? Good. 5 times 3 equals 15. But I'm not done because I have not multiplied my second down here, this second group here. I need to use them too. So here I have 1, 2, 3 rows. And again, I have 3 in each row. How many stars did I box in that bottom equation to find the product of 3 times 3? 9. Very good. So I have 3 times 3 equals 9. So then all I have to do is add 15 plus 9. Add them up. 15 plus 9. Did you get the sum of 24? Go. So it equals 24. So 15 plus 9 equals 24. 24 is a product of 8 times 3. 8 times 3 equals 24. What we did here in this picture is we just took 8 times 3 and we split it up into 2 different equations of 5 times 3 plus 3 times 3, and I still got the same answer as 24. Again, it's just a different way to look at these equations and a different strategy to multiply. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit more practice with that and dividing it up. Okay, let's look at another equation. What if I have the multiplication equation 3 times 9? Let's solve that one. And I want us to do an array like we did on the previous problem, okay? So we have 3 rows and 9 counters in each row. So why don't you draw this on your paper so you can do it with me, okay? So let's do 3 rows. 1, 2, 3. Do that on your paper. Then we're going to make sure we have 9 in each row. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Try to keep them in line as possible because it's going to help us when we're solving. So the same in the second row. Count your first one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And go ahead and do the same thing with your next row. Check your picture to make sure it looks like mine or similar to mine, where you have 3 rows, 1, 2, 3, and each row is equal. So each row is going to have 9 counters in it. Now let's go on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to solve using this array. I can count all of these stars, absolutely. But, excuse me, instead, I'm going to draw a picture, okay? And I'm going to split this array up into equal groups or 2 smaller arrays so it's easy for me to solve. It doesn't matter where I put the line, essentially, because either way it's going to make it smaller. I will say I am not going to go this way this time because going this way doesn't really help me because I have more counters going across my page, more columns than I have rows. So this time I'm going to split up a little bit different than the last equation, and I'm just going to draw a line right here. And this is going to be my first array I'm going to solve for. Looking at the picture that I boxed in, go ahead and box yours in also just like mine. So I did 5 stars across and drew my line on this one. Let's write a multiplication equation to represent this array. First, how many rows do I have? 1, 2, 3 rows. And how many are inside that box in the row? So how many columns are inside that box? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So inside the box, the multiplication equation represented is 3 times 5. What does that equal? 3 groups of 5 is how many altogether? Count by 5s, ready? 5, 10, 15. So 3 times 5 is 15. But I'm not done. I still need to solve for my other half of my problem. This half of my equation. Let's go ahead and write a multiplication equation to represent it. Write it down on your paper. What are my 2 factors? My first one is a 3 because I only have 3 rows. My next factor is a 4, and I get the 4 because I have 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. Now let's multiply 3 times 4. Count the stars inside your orange box, that second half of your equation. How many do we have all together? Right, we have 12. Now that you've taken this array of 3 times 9 and split it up into 3 times 5 and 3 times 4, we got the product of 15 and the product of 12. These 2 numbers down here, I'm going to have to add together. So I'm adding 15 plus 12. Go ahead and write this on your paper and solve. And how many do we have all together? 27. This tells me that 3 times 9 equals 27. Okay, so this method is helpful when we're multiplying larger numbers, and larger numbers sometimes are more difficult to multiply. Should we try one more together? Okay, let's do that. Let's look at our last example together of 10 times 6. I have 2 factors. I have 10 and I have 6. Okay, now before we skip count by 10s, because that's a really quick way to do it, I want to show you another way to do it using the distributive property or using an array, a picture to do it. All right, so I have 10 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Draw 10 rows on your paper. Can be stars, can be smiley faces, can be check marks, as long as it's kind of organized for us so it doesn't get all mixed up. In each row, I'm going to have 6. Count your first one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Go ahead and do that for each one after. It is a lot of stars. I'm making sure that each one of my rows only has 6 stars in it though. So your picture should look something like mine. And what we're going to do is we're going to just draw a line to make, instead of all these down here 10, I'm just going to draw a line. And I'm going to actually do it right here this time. And again, I decided to do it up and down and split it because there are so many there. There's 10. That's a lot. So it's a bigger number. That's why I'm putting it there. I'm going to write a multiplication equation to represent this array. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. And I have 6 in each row. What is the product of 4 times 6? $24. Now, I'm going to do the same thing with the bottom half. Let's write the multiplication equation. How many rows do you have? 1, 2, 6 rows. And in each row, I should have 6 stars. So our equation we're going to need to find the product for is 6 times 6. What is 6 times 6? 36. Now that we found the product of 24 and 36 for our two equations within our big one, we're going to add those two numbers up. So we're going to add 24 plus 36. 6 plus 4 is 10, so we're going to need to regroup. 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 plus 3 is 6. So 10 times 6 equals 60. Now, I know what some of you are saying, Miss Walsh, would it be easier to skip count by tens? Because I know how to count by tens. Absolutely, it would be. And in your typical lessons in math work, I would encourage you to skip count. I did want to show you this strategy for those of you that want to do this strategy, okay? But if I skip count by 10 6 times, hold up 6 fingers for me. Now, we're going to count by tens, and each time we do, we're putting down a finger. Ready? Off we go. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. What was our answer? 60, right. So 10 times 6 equals 60. Okay, so the next couple of problems you're going to be working on when you're multiplying, okay? Remember, you can use any strategy that works for you. Your teachers are here to help you. Please let us know if you need help. Don't sit there stumped till you get yourself frustrated, okay? We can see the work as you're working on it. So Miss Walsh, Miss Berry, Miss Joyce, we need help, and I need help on this problem. I'm stumped, and we can help you. Also, please show your work on the slides or show us your work on your paper that you're working on so we can see your thinking and know where you might be making the mistake if you're making a mistake, and we know how to help you, okay? So you guys, this video lesson is over. You can close the video lesson and go ahead and start on your classwork for today. Keep up the great work.